Actually, we've been going to school together since we were about in the 6th grade, but I really didn't know he existed until we were like sophomores in high school. We had a fairy tale wedding, and we knew that we wanted to start a family right away. We tried to conceive right from the start. About 13 months or so of trying, nothing happened. We sought a fertility specialist to just kind of work us up and see what was going on, and we discovered that we were going to have a little bit of challenges conceiving. Very first treatment, I discovered that I was pregnant. We found out we were having twins. My pregnancy was progressing just fine. I was working a full-time job, commuting back and forth from Blue Ash to downtown every day, making the hike to the office building from the parking garage, running a music ministry at the church. We were sitting on a tri-state youth board at the time. We were just busy. I believe I was about 20 or so weeks when I started to notice a change. My fatigue was really starting to get to me. I started to feel a lot of pressure when I was walking. As the weeks progressed, I just didn't feel right. I went back to the doctor at about 23 weeks. Maybe, I need to work from home now and just kind of take it easy a little bit. And she said, I agree, absolutely, you should do that. Day 1, working from home was fine. Day 2 was a very different story. I was preparing dinner and my water broke. This unexplainable feeling of dread just came all over me. I knew this was not going to be good. The idea of a little chubby, smiley little baby that you can just hold and love and nurse, that flew out of my mind. I knew right then it wasn't going to be that. The neonatologist came in and he said, if the babies are born now, if they survive, there's a 90% chance that they're going to have major problems. The contractions started to come every minute. They prepped me for an emergency C-section. I was wheeled into the OR, and within 2 minutes, the babies were born. I didn't hear them cry. They didn't cry. I didn't get to see them. I was 24 weeks and 4 days at the time of delivery.
It starts to click, and it's like, this is really happening.
This is real.
And it's a possibility that we may go home with no babies.
We saw Keziah first. She weighed in at 1.5. and she was 12.5 inches long, and she was beautiful. We went to see Cadence next, and she weighed in at 1.7 pounds, and she was 13.5 inches long, so she's the bigger of the two. And she opened her eyes. That moment took my breath away. The neonatologist said there's just nothing else we can do for her. Kevin and I had to make a very, very difficult decision. We just didn't want her to suffer any more than she had. They had removed her tubes, and she was still alive at that point, but that's the first time I got to hold her. And I just didn't want to let her go. The nurse came in, and she tapped me on my shoulder, and I said, I know. And so they brought Keziah in.
Yep.
She didn't even have to tell me. I already knew. And so they removed the tubes while I was holding her. And I was losing both of my babies.
Not something that you plan to do in your lifetime. That was beyond difficult.
The guilt just eats away at you. And even today, I look back on it and say, I wish I had. I should have. I could have. With counseling, we've been able to move past, I've been able to move past feeling guilty and blaming myself. It's kind of taboo, especially in the African American community, any kind of mental issues. But we went, and it was the best decision I ever made. It is important that, us in the faith community really take an active role in the lives of the families. Church is one thing, but get involved in their lives and provide holistic support for the family. That's invaluable.
Through the counseling and the help that we received, we found then that we were able to begin helping others.
I want this to be researched. I want it to be investigated. It should be. One child lost is one too many. That child has a name. That child has a family. You know, if we could be a little bit more careful in our prenatal care, or, you know, if we can have some support for the mom and the families going, you know, during pregnancy, if there's something we can do better, let's do that.
Men can play a large role, just being there, being supportive. If you see things, don't be afraid to speak on it. Say, hey, I think, you know, maybe we can relax in these areas, or is there anything I can do to help take the load off or the pressure off? No deed is too small, no deed is too great. Speak out, stand up, and just be a support for women and babies.
There was gonna be a happy ending to all of this, and so we got the courage to try again. Kevin, we're gonna have a baby. On October 25th, 2013, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Caden is, he's our world. He has changed our lives so much, but I love this side of motherhood. If you see a mom that needs help, call United Way's 211 line. There are lots of resources that they can offer her, a crib, you know, baby items, even care, health care. And also visit Cradle Cincinnati's website, cradlecincinnati.org. Tap into some of the resources that they have outlined there.
You know I love you.
I love you too.